Hello everybody, welcome back. My name is Mel and you may have noticed there are some empty shelves behind me. That's because today we're going to be doing my bookshelf reorganization and book tour video. I really needed to do this for a while, but I'll be honest, I've just been putting it off because it's a daunting feat. This is actually later me. I was doing this all day yesterday and just honestly didn't get finished, so I figured I would come on today and do the intro for this video and finish everything up. My shelves were previously organized as like rows of books, and we had like my adult high fantasy and then fantasy romance, young adult, sci-fi, thriller and horror, romance, and middle grade. And then I also had a TBR shelf that was just an utter disaster, and I never really used it. I always kind of knew in the back of my head what books I had sitting on my TBR, and so it just became piles and piles and piles of books. So I decided it was time to clean up the office, get rid of some books, and finally get this crap back in order. So I'm gonna let you flash forward to yesterday me, where I kind of introduce you to how I'm planning to do this, and we'll get on with the video. But the main bookshelves behind me are almost exclusively, I would say 93%, my read books. Right now it is organized as like columnar shelves. I've got my adult fantasy, fantasy romance, sci-fi, young adult, mystery, horror, and then I think middle grade. And I think I may reorganize that to go across the top shelves. So I would do it more horizontally. That's how I had it before, and I think I like it a little bit better. So I think we're gonna go back to that, putting my least read genres toward the top and my most read genre, adult fantasy, down below, so that that's what's behind me when I'm filming. I think that's gonna work better for me. If not, you guys may see another reorganization video sometime in the nearest future, but we're gonna give it a go and we're gonna see what I think. So I guess let's just tear it down and we'll go from there.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed. Think you're something out of my nightmares, seen it right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing me?
Silhouettes of you are like a taunt. Never really know just what you want. With you I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palms. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free. You know I'm addicted to you, and it's twisted, you've been gifted with the evil voodoo. Got me coming back for more, even when I've been screwed. Dolls full of pins, pierce my heart straight through. I got issues in my head, I like you in my bed, but you keep me on red. Oh, everything is like a test. I better not text or I'll come off desperate.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed.
Okay everyone, so that is the bookshelves. Everything is taken down of this bookshelves that behind me, as well as the TBR bookshelf. So what I have decided to do is, I've got my Patreons on live right now. We're gonna go through every book. They're gonna help me put them back on the shelves, and I'm going to talk you guys through how I'm doing this. So what's behind me are going to be the books that, as a general rule of thumb, are my favorites. My high fantasy, my fantasy romance, my sci-fi, horror and thriller, genres that are in my comfort zone that I tend to really enjoy. So that's what's gonna go up behind me. Once I decide exactly how I'm gonna put them back, whether it's gonna be horizontal or vertical, I will talk you guys through that. But as of right now, they are clean. There is a disaster in my floor. I can barely walk around, but we are getting there one step at a time. I'll show you guys more when I have a little bit more to show you. So I finally have an empty shelf behind me. I think I'm going to be putting middle grade and young adult over there, just depending on how many I have. So we're just going to start going through and deciding what we're keeping, what we're not keeping, and get them on the shelves.
Think you're something out of my nightmares, seen it right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing me?
Silhouettes of you are like a taunt. Never really know just what you want. With you I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palms. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free. You know I'm addicted to you, and it's twisted, you've been gifted with the evil voodoo. Got me coming back for more, even when I've been screwed. Dolls full of pins, pierce my heart straight through. I got issues in my head, I like you in my bed, but you keep me on red. Oh, everything is like a test, I better not text or I'll come off desperate.
Okay, so the young adult and middle grade shelves are done. This is what the top shelf looks like. I know they're not in alphabetical order, but in order to make them pretty and to make them fit, we just had to run with it. Of course, Amari is up here, the Wizards of One series. I've really been loving Lindsay Curry's, her horror novels, so those are up there for sure. Then moving down here, we were able to stack all of my UK middle grades together because these all had exactly the same height, so that was really nice. We've got Frostheart, of course, the City of Bones trilogy. And then down here we have my Keepers of the Lost Cities, as well as the Nevermore series, which I absolutely adore. Moving down, we start the young adult shelf, so the classics there. And then all the way down here at the bottom, I really wish that this had a proper like third or fourth and fifth shelf, but it does not. So we've got my Sebastian de Castell, some of the young adult thrillers and horrors, as well as the Scythe series and Illuminae. And that is my middle grade and YA shelf. Okay, so behind me you see all of the empty shelves. We are about to start the big bookshelves. I still haven't 100% decided how I'm doing these, if I'm going to do them vertical or horizontal. I am not sure that I'm gonna have enough to fill up every shelf. So we may end up needing to do them, I don't know, because I filmed videos with my two shelves down here, or these four being kind of the most that you see, and those are the ones that moving left to right are going to be the most likely to be empty. So I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do that yet. We'll see, because I actually did take all of my TBR shelves down, and that's going to get put on my big shelves where I won't have a TBR shelf anymore. So that's going to add a lot of books. I don't know how many, but we're going to find out. So I guess let's just start this thing.
Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all. Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all. Too many things going on, I can't keep track of them all. From people dropping a bomb to people putting up walls. I feel like life is on hold, perception stuck in a vault. I know that time can heal all, but how much time till we fall? It's awfully chilly outside when there's no shelter to hide. When everything is a lie, you'll find that out in some time. But when the things on your mind are all considered a crime, communication aside, we'll all just fight till we die. Is this an argument or just the start of it? Either way, I don't wanna be a part of it. Can I just get some space? I don't have the heart for this. I can't be picking up the pieces, fixing scars from this. Is this an argument or just the start of it? I wanna drive away so I can be so far from it. I wanna find a place where no one breaks their promises, or maybe drown myself in something that is bottomless. Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all. Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all. I know that things seem bad, but they could be much worse. There's always someone else who has a greater curse. A greater thirst, a hunger, pain, immersed. Just find whatever you got and try to be thankful first. I wanna feel again, I need a couple friends. I never really understood just how the story ends, but I can feel it's tense, don't know the consequence. The volatility of life, my only confidence. Is this an argument, or just the start of it? Either way, I don't wanna be a part of it. Can I just get some space? I don't have the heart for this. I can't be picking up the pieces, fixing scars from this. Is this an argument, or just the start of it? I wanna drive away so I can be so far from it. I wanna find a place where no one breaks their promises, or maybe drown myself in something that is bottomless. Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small, way back before we blew it all. Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small, way back before we blew it all.
Hey everybody, so it's a new day. I gave up yesterday. I got all of the fantasy romance, and horror thrillers on, and then just got exhausted, got hot, decided to put it down and do sci-fi and fantasy today. So I guess that's what we're gonna get started on. Let's jump back into it.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed. Think you're something out of my nightmares, standing right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing me?
Silhouettes of you are like a taunt. Never really know just what you want. With you I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palms. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free. You know I'm addicted to you, and it's twisted, you've been gifted with the evil voodoo. Got me coming back for more, even when I've been screwed. Dolls full of pins, pierce my heart straight through. I got issues in my head, I like you in my bed, but you keep me on red. Oh, everything is like a test. I better not text or I'll come off desperate.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed. Think you're something out of my nightmares, standing right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing me?
So if I play dead, will you regret everything that you did, that you said? I don't think you understand what you're doing, and my heart's black and blue from the bruising. I feel like when I'm with you I'm losing. I feel like you think that this amusing, sitting there gaslighting and confusing. Was it me? Is it me? Am I deluded? I'm the one who's always sorry, the conclusion, even though I offer all of the solutions. I wish you loved me like I love you, it's stupid. When I'm alone with you I never feel lucid. I wish I wasn't struck by Cupid. I wish when I first saw you I knew this. When I'm with you I feel so useless, I feel diluted, my heart's been wounded. Silhouettes of you are like a taunt. Never really know just what you want. With you I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palms. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed. Think you're something out of my nightmares, standing right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then
Okay, so just really quickly, down this side is my Book of the Month books. I will go through those sometime at a later date and possibly get rid of a few of them. Okay, so tripod won't reach, so we're gonna kind of hover up here at this top shelf, which is my contemporary romance books. A lot of these are more of a nostalgia type thing than anything else. I mean, I do love There Are No Saints and There Is No Devil books. We move across to, I don't know why I'm keeping those Katie Robert. Then continuing on over, we move into the fantasy romance. I enjoy the Jennifer L. Armentrout books, so I do want to keep those. If you've seen my toxic trait video, you'll know that Savage Lands and River of Shadows are just two that I'm keeping because I want to try the sequel. Then we move on to the Charlaine Harris books, which of course I love and I'm not getting rid of. I'm reading the Plated Prisoner for the Van Row Book Club, so that's why those are there. You'll see my SJM collection for there, but I do have a set of special editions out in the living room, so the rest of my Sarah J. Maas is out there. Then moving on over, we have a couple of mass market paperbacks that are just old urban fantasy that I really enjoyed, and probably my most nostalgic favorite series, the Dark Fever series. Then we've got some indie romances that I've really enjoyed and a couple that I still need to read. Okay, then moving down to the second row, we've got all of my J.R. Ward books. This is the Black Dagger Brotherhood series that I absolutely adore. I need to catch up. I actually don't own all of them, but I'm working on it. Shifting over to the next shelf, we are starting my horror and thrillers. These are all of my hardcovers. So we've got a couple that I haven't read, a couple that I've really enjoyed. For example, one of the coolest covers and weirdest covers, the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, of course had to be sticking out. I still need to read like Plain Bad Heroines, A History of Wild Places, Perfect Strangers, Night Film, all of those I still need to get to, but wanted them up here with the like. Then moving on to some more of my mystery thrillers, we've got the rest of my Riley Sager. The Lost Village I loved, so definitely keeping that. Some of the CJ Tudor, but some of the rest of it I think is down in the paperback shelves. The Book of Accidents I still really need to get to, all of my Ruth Ware books, and then a couple of just random paper or hardbacks that just didn't have any sizing with everything else, so I stacked those together like the Finley Donovan series. Now moving on to the rest of my thriller and horror books, we've got a shelf and a half left of these. I have read The Lighthouse Witches and really enjoyed it, but still need to get to The Resting Place. I've not read Good Girls Lie or In the Woods yet. Into the Drowning Deep is one of those books that I just can't quit thinking about, even though it's not like an ultimate favorite. I just think about it all the time and absolutely love it. The cover of Horror Store is just really cool, so we had to face that one out. The few Stephen King that I do actually own, my T. Kingfisher, The Hollow Places, one of my favorite books, so we might end up actually switching out Horror Store and The Hollow Places covers because I really enjoy that cover. And this is the last of my thriller horror mystery before moving into the sci-fi. We've got The Last Days, which is the like Stephen King of the UK or so I've heard. A couple that I haven't read, like The Way of All Flesh, and actually haven't read the Deanna Raybourn series yet, so I plan to do that soon. Then we move on into my science fiction, which I wish I had more of, and I'm working on getting more of, but Foundation I still need to read. The two Blake Crouch that are not Book of the Month, so I may actually be rebuying Recursion so that it'll match those two. The Beloved Expanse series, and one of my copies of Dune. And then moving on to my last science fiction shelf, I really want to get to this Velocity Weapon by Megan O'Keefe. It has been on my highly anticipated for a while. I read the first chapter and loved it. A couple of others that I was told by my Patreons to keep, like The First Sister and The Helm of Midnight, that I have not read yet. Middle Game, Gideon. Revelation Space is one of those that absolutely terrifies me, but I do still want to read it. It's like very classic sci-fi. Then we have the beautiful cover that is The Starless Crown. Have I heard anything about it? No. Is it beautiful and I'm going to keep it anyway? Yes. Then we get into the Bone Season series, which I'm not really sure if it's sci-fi or fantasy, but leans a little bit more sci-fi to me, so we're shelving it up here. Desperately waiting for the 5th book to come out. Vicious, I still need to get Vengeful, and the Martha Wells Murderbot series. And then the little bitty tiny Hyperion just kind of hanging out in the corner over there. Next up, we start the fantasy shelves. So first up is the Stardust Thief. That is one that I got a little while ago from Orbit. Thank you, Orbit, for sending that to me. I did start it, but have not finished it yet. Moving on to the first Law trilogy, I am saving those for a special occasion. I'm hoping that the Catch Up Book Club is going to do that series next, so I've kind of been just sitting on those and saving them. The Spine of the Dragon by Kevin J. Anderson was gifted to me by Rachel, so thank you so much, Rachel, for that one. I'm really excited and actually have book 2 on the way, so I hope it fits on the shelves. Ninth House, Foundry Side, also a Rachel pick, was the Green Rider. She loves that series and says it's horse girl fantasy. So I'm really excited to give that one a go. Soon I will actually be getting the third book in the Black Coast series, so I'm probably going to end up having to shift some of these shelves around in the nearest future. And then all of my Dresden Files books so far. Then moving on to the next shelf, we've got the Bound in the Broken series by Ryan Cahill. Those are on their side because I know that there's still a novella that I don't have, and then the third book comes out in December, and it's even bigger than Of Darkness and Light, so I knew those probably needed to be turned sideways. The Tethered Mage by Melissa Crusoe was gifted to me by Emma, so thank you so very much, Emma, for that one. Of course, we have the City of Brass series, one of my all-time favorites. The Blade of Faith and the Soul Keeper are two that I'm highly, highly anticipating by David Deglish. I don't know why I'm keeping The Gardens of the Moon, I think because I feel guilty for getting rid of it since it's one of Dad's favorites, but it's there. We may end up unhauling it at some point if I don't decide to continue the series, but it looks nice, so I'm going to keep it for now. The Ugly Ugly Kings of Ashes library copy that I can't get any of the stickers off of, so I will probably be replacing that one. Moving on to probably one of my, I won't say favorite shelves because it looks pretty, but it does have some of my books that I'm most anticipating on it. Of course, the Fate and the Fallen series by John Gwynne. Love, love, loved Malice. Cannot wait to continue. And don't they look just gorgeous sitting next to each other? Ugh. And The Shadow of Gods is one of my favorite covers ever. That dragon, epic. I'm really excited about the Flames of Mira. That cover's really cool and it just looks really interesting along with the Dwarves, one I have not heard anybody talk about, but I thought it sounded really cool and want to give it a go. An Unkindness of Magicians was one that I read like 3-4 years ago and adored, and heard there was a sequel coming out and we never got any news. Apparently there is a sequel coming out, so very, very excited about that. The Shadow of What Was Lost, I will be getting books 2 and 3 very soon for a thing, but those are going to take up a lot of room, so again, we're probably going to have to do some shifting here pretty soon. And then Illborn, which I'm desperately trying to get to down there on the end. Then we have the beautiful Robin Hobb shelf. This is the entire series that I own so far of The Realm of the Elderling. I'm really, really hoping that the last 2 books actually stand up down here on the end, because if they don't, I'm going to be really sad. But we'll find out when I finally get them in from Book Depository. I haven't ordered them yet. I don't know what's wrong with me. Love this series, one of my favorites, and they just look so satisfying sitting next to each other on the shelf. Then moving on to another fantasy shelf, we've got the 5th season series. I don't actually own the 3rd book in the series. I need to definitely get on that. The Wheel of Time books that I have so far, I have 1, 2, and 3, and then randomly 12 because I couldn't find it on Amazon and panicked and ordered it from the first place I could see before I realized they were going to start doing those covers again. Then we have the J. Kristoff Nevernight series and the Dragon Republic Poppy War. Those all just were exactly the same size, so I figured why not stack them together. The pretty, pretty whites. My box set of the Gunslinger the Dark Tower series, which I still need to continue. Then we have our next shelf, which has the Book of the Ancestor series on it, as well as the Jade City series. I really want to get to the Grace of Kings sometime soon because I've heard it's great. The Chorus of the Dragons, there are several books out. I actually own book 2 and it's on my TBR this month, so that's why you don't see it sitting there. And then I'm really, really excited to get to the Powder Mage trilogy sometime in the near future, and those just look so cool sitting next to each other. Then onto the very bottom shelves, we have the Shauna Maguire Every Heart a Doorway series. I stacked those on their side because I don't actually own all of them, and I do like to have them because I just think they're really pretty and I enjoy them. So I am going to stack those up on the side. Cersei may or may not be staying. I haven't fully decided yet. A couple of Anthony Ryan, the Name of the Wind special edition. I think that's the 10th anniversary edition. Currently, my copies of The Witcher, I may be unhauling these and getting the new hardcovers that they're releasing because they're my favorite covers and I don't own that many of them yet, so figured why not go ahead and replace them while I can. A Darker Shade of Magic may or may not be staying. It's not one of my favorite trilogies, and if I need to make more room, it will go. The Priory of the Orange Tree is just kind of sitting there staring at me, so we're gonna move on. Then we have my beloved Brandon Sanderson shelf. I'm working on getting the rest of the Mistborn series in hardback, as well as the Era 2 and Oathbringer. That's the ones that I'm currently missing. So desperately need to get a hold of those, but I just love all of them sitting together, and I want all of his adult works in hardcover sometime here in the future. And then last but not least, we have the very bottom shelf. This has my Bone Shard Daughter series, which I really enjoyed the first one, and the second one was okay. I'm excited to finally read the Bone Shard War. Legacy of Ash, which is huge, but I've heard is really, really good. Ashes of the Sun, one of my new all-time favorites, and Blood of the Chosen is actually on my TBR this month, so it will be coming to shelves near you very soon. The Thousand Doors of Ardor Ben, I've heard is really good from Rachel, so I definitely want to continue that. Ninth Reign is the current backlist book club selection, so I will be finishing those off and getting them on my shelves very soon. And then the lovely Rage of Dragons that I need to finish Fires of Vengeance and actually order that, but it is coming. Okay guys, so these are my bookshelves. I hope you enjoyed this video. It took me literal years to film, but I had a good time, and I really, really like the way that these look now. I think that they look really good, much more full and fleshed out than they did before. So I'm excited to finally have some pretty shelves behind me when I film. Let me know down in the comments how yours are organized. Of course, mine are by genre and then kind of, sort of, mostly by author, but we had to kind of mix that around a little bit to get everything to fit. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you can connect with me down on my Patreon in the description box, as well as my Instagram, Goodreads, and Twitter. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe if you wanna, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!